आजकल किताब पब्लिश करना बहुत ही सरल हो गया है। किंडल डायरेक्ट पब्लिशिंग जैसे प्लेटफॉर्म उभरते लेखकों को ऑथरप्रेन्योर बनाने और सेल्फ पब्लिकेशन के माध्यम से सफल होने में सक्षम बनाते हैं। KDP has removed all barriers surrounding traditional publishing, such as the need for copious amounts of time, money, and ability to reach the global audience. Joining us today, we have Sundari Venkatraman, author of 50 plus books, including multiple bestsellers, to delve deeper into the subject and provide some invaluable insight on how Kindle direct publishing has removed publishing barriers for the new age authors.
I'm Sundari Venkatraman. I'm an extremely proud independent author, and it's given me a lot of freedom, making me my own boss. I was born in Kumbakonam, which is a temple town in Tamil Nadu, and later I grew up in Madras. I was part of a Tambram family. We were 5 sisters, and all of us, how we were brought up was like, okay, go to school, do your college, and after that, get married and settle down. Nobody thought we could have a career or maybe even a job. Okay, get a graduation. So I did a BCom, and after that they arranged my marriage with Venkatraman, and I got married and I settled in Bombay. I had a child almost within a year, and I had another child. So my daughter and my son. And once my son reached full day school, I realized that just being a housewife was not enough for me. I wanted to do something different. Then what happened, I thought as a beginning, I applied in the school where my kids were studying, and I got a job with the admin department. And there I was I was doing the office work, and I also was the secretary to school principal. Looking back, I realized the universe was taking me in the direction where I had to finally reach. And I had this job of typing out all the stories with the children write, from class 1 to class 10. It was incredible. Their imagination was like, there was no curtailing them. They never felt conscious of themselves, and they were just writing whatever came to their mind. This somewhere, broke something in my brain. It really changed something. After 3 years of the job there, when my daughter came to the 10th standard, I quit the job and I sat at home thinking that I'm going to be of help to her. I was completely frustrated. I used to go for walks regularly. I was 39 plus at this point. The story just broke through out of the blue. It was a lightning bolt out of the blue. And I just started writing my first story, which is The Malhotra Bride. And I was super excited. Now I'm on a new journey altogether. It didn't strike me, about publishing or getting my book to be read by others or anything like that. I just went on writing. In the span of 6 months, I completed 3 books. And I thought, wow, I'm doing something fantastic. And it kept me grounded. It made me very happy. I used to write in a notebook and pen, and then I slowly typed everything out onto a computer. And I thought, now what? Then I thought, okay, now I have to start applying to publishers. Those days, this I'm talking sometime in the beginning of 2000, internet was there, but not all the information was available on the internet. So, I used to visit a bookstore, which is not very far from my home, pull out all the romance novels, because that is the genre I write in. And I took down the names and addresses of the publishers, made a huge list, and then around the world, I don't remember how many people I sent to. I applied everywhere. After 2.5 years, I realized nobody was interested in publishing me. I was getting rejection after rejection, timed out, and I used to cry copious tears. I used to cry my heart out. I spent sleepless nights after every single rejection that came in. And then I did one of the biggest fiascos of my life. I tried my hand at vanity publishing. What happened is, vanity was basically stroking your ego. I paid money to get published. I saw 20 copies of totally unedited work of my book. And after that, I just realized I had kissed some 40,000 rupees goodbye. And nothing came of that. And then I thought, this is it. But what happened was, The stories within me, they refused to die. They wanted to be told. The stories, the characters, the hero, heroine, everybody, they were like literally bombarding me in my head, and they wanted to have a say. So I realized now, what is the outlet for this? I started blogging. And at that point, when I had the story on my blog, I happened to meet this friend on Facebook. She lives in the US, and there she knew a lot about Kindle Direct Publishing, which Amazon has. There were a lot of American authors who had been publishing on that. At the time, imagine it was 2014 and I was 53 years old. And I was thinking, where am I going to understand this? But you remember, the universe had been preparing me. I had already worked with 2 websites. And so I did have some knowledge of the internet. And I thought, let me go and check it out. But you realize you don't need any of the knowledge because everything is self-explanatory when you open the page. I opened an account for myself and I just went on clicking. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe the 5th step, I had the page open in front of me and I could find out what was really required to be posted there. I needed my manuscript on a Word document, which already was ready. I needed a blurb, which was also ready. I just needed to get a cover done. And in case I didn't want a new cover done, there was a way to make a cover right there on Amazon. But I'm very particular about my covers being exclusive. So I found a cover designer. And that was the one thing which took a little bit of time. And believe me or not, within 2 weeks of getting to know about Amazon Kindle Publishing, I had already put my book up there. And here, we have to understand that Amazon is your partner. The publisher is myself. Like, I am the author and I am the publisher. I am an independent author-publisher. So Amazon has just given me a ready-made platform where I just had to go and upload everything. And in a span of 72 hours, I was a published author. Just imagine my struggle all those years. It took me 14 years, mind you. Like, I was like, it's like Rama's time in the forest. It took me that long, but it took me 72 hours. I was published. It put me on top of the world. And by then, I had quit my job much before that. And I was at home and I was very excited because I already had 3 full-fledged novels. I had some short stories. So in that 1 year's time, I published 4 books. The first income, like Amazon pays you 70% royalty, which is the biggest that I know of. I mean, like, actually speaking, traditional publishers pay you way lesser, depending on the cost or whatever. But this is the best deal I could get. My first income after 2 months, like after the sale happens in a month, 2 months later you get paid. And it's like, becomes like a monthly salary after that, depending on how much you're ready to write and how much you can find your audience. Like, it's the platform is there. It's how smart you are and how much you're ready to do the work. And I got 400 rupees. It is like a very, very minuscule percentage of what salary I was getting in the media. But it was the biggest thing for me because I was living my dream. And that was just the beginning, mind you. In that whole year with the 4 books, my income started building. But that little bit of feeling like I want to be a traditionally published author, that didn't go away. So when this publisher, we were in talks, like I wouldn't say he approached me or anything, we were in talks. And I asked him if he was ready to publish my book. He did show interest and it came out. Without thinking too much, I signed the contract because it was like not a very tough contract. So I thought it shouldn't matter, everything was working. I didn't realize actually what I was signing for. The percentage was so less. And since I had given away my ebook rights, you get a very teeny-weeny part of the 70% when it comes through a publisher. Because even the publisher doesn't get the cut. The author-publisher gets way more money than the publisher does, which is one point. Another point was, there was this thing in the contract like 6 months before the book came out and 6 months after the book came out. I was not supposed to publish any other title in my name. And that brought me down a lot. But I thought it's just a span of 1 year. I got over it. And the moment that condition became null, I went on a frenzy. I wrote and published 13 books in the span of 13 months. And I realized my income was rising exponentially. What happens with each title now, your reader base keeps increasing and more readers come, automatically your income increases. And by now, like after the first few months of publishing, I realized I was making 60,000 to 80,000 per month. which you can't dream of with a traditional publishing house, because where they give you a lump sum and you have to wait to earn it, which might take a year, it might take a couple of years. And after that, when the income starts trickling, it takes a very long time. Here, it was like a monthly salary, which only tends to increase if you keep writing regularly. It was as simple as that. And it was like as though I was super excited, like a newbie who has just entered a job space, who is very interesting, which is very exciting, which has been a dream. And I was like 55, 56 at that point, and I started a new life. Now I don't have to look back. I have to keep just writing. And I write in 3 different genres. I write in romance is my predominant thing. Started writing historical romances. And I also have written a few Indian mythology books. Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing had transformed my whole life. In the past few years, when I had almost given up writing after publishing on Amazon, I have written and published 52 books. And my life, that used to be part of managing a house, and people now tend to retire after 50. They're planning post-50 ka retirement plan. I have begun this fresh career, which is keeping me really peppy and happy with my life. It's also giving me a wonderful income, about 8 to 10 lakhs in a year. I used to be a non-entity, nobody knew me. Now with becoming an author on Amazon, I have become very famous. So much so that you remember all those traditional publishers who were refusing me? Many of them are back and they are approaching me and they want to publish my books. And that's how my journey, my life is completely transformed. Amazon has this option which is known as KDP Select, where you make Amazon your exclusive partner. Like you make this thing agreement that you don't want to be published on other platforms. And this is not a rule which is written in stone. Like, they give you an option every quarterly, you can change your mind, you can pull out of it. I've never felt the need, mind you, because this gives me a 70% income. And they have millions of people who are visiting Amazon every day. So my reader base can only increase day after day. So they have something called Kindle Unlimited Library, online library where people can download books and read. And we get paid for every page read. And from there, I find at least 20 to 30,000 pages of my books read whenever a new title is released. And an ordinary day, without a new release in the past 1 or 2 months, I still get about 15 to 20,000 pages read, which is the best thing that can happen to any author. And then I had the advantage of being one of the forerunners. They made me a jury member in the panel for a writing contest, which is known as the Pen to Publish contest, for 2 consecutive years. In one of those years, I had the opportunity to be at the JLF Literature Festival on one of the panel. And this is where Amazon had reached me, an independent author. This opportunity, very few traditionally published authors get. And I was on a platform along with Chetan Bhagat, Vineet Bajpayee and Rashmi Bansal. And this had given me such a joy, especially looking at the huge crowd of audience. There was 5,000 to 6,000 people in front of me. And I realized this was a fantastic moment in my life. And this is something which I had not even dreamt of. After returning from Jaipur, the first thing I did was, remember all those rejections which I had received? I had them all in a file. And all these years I was holding on to them, I just realized I had attained closure. I just tore everything up and threw them in the bin. And finally, I had arrived. I'd like to dedicate my success to Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing and all the team members of Amazon India. On the eve of turning 60, I'm planning to publish my 60th book this year. And here I see my path is very, very clear to me. I have a few books published traditionally, but all my books are available on Kindle. I see myself predominantly as an independent author because it gives me the freedom to publish at my pace. And it helps me because the income what a self-published author can earn on Amazon is way too ahead of one can earn with a traditional publisher. And I always want to be an independent author, which is what I am at heart.